Kirk Cameron once earned $50,000 per week on the sitcom Growing Pains, living the life most young actors could only dream about. At 17, he was an atheist riding a wave of fame, money, and adoration. Tens of thousands of fan letters arrived for him weekly, posters with his face lined bedroom walls across America, and ABC considered him one of the most valuable stars on television. But after one unexpected visit to church, his life swerved so dramatically that it changed everything. His reputation, his career, and even his relationships with those closest to him. Kirk was born October 12, 1970, in Panorama City, Los Angeles, the oldest of 4 children. His family had no ties to Hollywood. His father taught school, his mother stayed home, and life was ordinary until a family friend offhandedly remarked that Kirk and his younger sister, Candace, were cute enough for commercials. What began as a simple suggestion soon turned into a defining moment. Agents, auditions, casting calls. Suddenly Kirk was in the world of television. At 9 years old, he began booking commercial roles for McDonald's, Polaroid, Count Chocula, and Fruit Roll UPS, bringing in real income that helped the family immensely. Candace later found fame herself starring as DJ Tanner on Full House. At 11, Kirk moved beyond commercials into TV roles, landing parts in Disney's Beyond Witch Mountain and in Herbie the Love Bug for CBS. By 13, he secured a spot in ABC's short-lived series 2 Marriages. The show didn't last, but it proved that even at a young age he could hold the screen. 2 years later, everything changed when he was cast as Mike Seaver in Growing Pains. The character was charming, rebellious in just the right way, and instantly beloved. When the show premiered in 1985, Kirk was 14. Within 2 years it became a primetime powerhouse, reaching number 5 in the Nielsen ratings and turning him into a teen idol nearly overnight. Fan mail poured in by the thousands every week. At live tapings, girls screamed his name. Magazines like Tiger Beat and Teen Beat plastered him on their covers, branding him the dream boy next door. By 16, he was making $50,000 each week, money that could have launched a lifelong Hollywood career. But beneath the glitter of stardom, Kirk began feeling something shift inside him. In 1987, at the highest point of his fame, a girl he liked invited him to church. He went reluctantly, expecting to laugh it off, but instead found himself moved by a sermon about John 3 verse 16. He left with a book, More Than a Carpenter, and after reading alone in his car later that night, he prayed for the first time in his life. Kirk said peace washed over him in a way he couldn't ignore. He became a born-again Christian, and from that moment forward, nothing was the same. The change was immediate and profound. He refused jokes or storylines he believed clashed with his new values. He asked writers to rewrite scripts to remove sexual humor. Cast and crew weren't sure how to handle it. Some rolled their eyes, some gave him nicknames like Bible Boy, and tension quietly formed. When Julie McCullough joined the show as his character's love interest, he learned she had posed for Playboy. Off-screen, he believed that contradicted what the show should represent. He reportedly contacted ABC president Bob Iger and pushed for her removal. Soon after, her character was written out abruptly, and according to Julie, she and Kirk stopped speaking. The incident hurt her career and deepened the divide between Kirk and his castmates. Over time, he drifted further from the people he had grown up with on screen. When he married Chelsea Noble, who later played his romantic interest, none of his co-stars received invitations. Not Alan Thicke, Tracy Gold, or Jeremy Miller. They attended each other's weddings for years, but Kirk was no longer part of that circle. He later admitted he regretted not explaining himself better. Tracy Gold, the actress who played his sister, was fighting a silent battle with anorexia during the show. Producers frequently wrote fat jokes into scripts, despite her objections, which worsened her body image until her weight dropped dangerously low. Eventually she was suspended from the show when she appeared too thin. While she recovered later, the emotional wounds were lasting. As Kirk grew older, the friction on set increased. He started pushing for more meaningful storylines, directing an episode himself and encouraging the writers to tackle heavier subjects. When an episode aired in 1989 involving a racial slur, backlash was swift. The NAACP collected thousands of signatures, ABC paid $100,000 to civil rights groups, and at just 18, Kirk publicly apologized. Not long after, Tabloids splashed news of him being caught driving 90 miles per hour in a Ferrari and fined $5,000. The wholesome teen heartthrob image began to blur. By the early 1990s, opportunities still came, but Kirk turned down roles that conflicted with his beliefs, including a $500,000 offer for Saved by the Bell, the college years. Hollywood saw him as too difficult, too moral-driven, too uninterested in typical industry content. His agent dropped him. He rejected a Growing Pains spin-off after the final episode in 1992, stating that Mike Seaver's story was complete and God was calling him elsewhere. When work dried up, Kirk became a youth pastor, earning only $20,000 a year and living off savings for a time. Critics called it a fall from fame, but he called it a beginning. Then came a new chapter. In 2000, he starred in the film Left Behind, based on the best-selling Christian book series. The $40 million project was slashed to $4 million, production was tense and reception mixed, yet millions of copies sold through churches. Kirk donated his entire $300,000 salary to missionary work. 2 sequels followed, though disagreements led to lawsuits and even FBI involvement, when he began receiving violent threats. In 2008, Fireproof, a faith-based movie made for just $500,000, shocked Hollywood by earning over $33 million. Kirk did his own fire stunts and suffered burns, but the film became one of the most successful independent releases that year. Behind the scenes, his marriage had been struggling, and he and Chelsea used the same Love Dare book featured in the film to rebuild their relationship. That book went on to sell 8 million copies. Not every project succeeded. Saving Christmas in 2014 received a 0% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and became IMDb's lowest-rated movie. Social media mocked him, but Kirk claimed anti-Christian bias. Still, he stayed vocal, particularly about faith, homeschooling, and traditional values. During the pandemic in 2020, he and Chelsea withdrew their 6 children from school and homeschooled them, later producing a documentary about it. In 2024, they moved from California to Tennessee, citing cultural and legislative concerns. Despite controversies, Kirk built substantial wealth through films, books, and ministry work, with estimates placing his net worth around $12 million. Much of his income, he says, is donated, up to 70%, particularly to Camp Firefly, a retreat he and Chelsea founded in 1993 for terminally ill children and their families. They never took a salary from it, focusing only on service. In 2025, his live stream series American Campfire Revival gathered over 1 million viewers before YouTube flagged some content, leading him to move to alternative platforms where supporters and critics continued to clash fiercely. Loved deeply by some and strongly opposed by others,